Pariname amritopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar. Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani Sudarshan Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Mahaprasad. But at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Purpose? In the pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and the senses and to concentrate the mind on the self. All these procedures are very difficult, bitter like poison, but if one is successful in following the regulations and comes to the transcendental position, he begins to drink real nectar and he enjoys life. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. There are various levels of happiness. This fact is stated in many places in the Shastras. Bhagavatam, first canto, primarily explains about two kinds of people. Those who are like swans, reminiscing in the crystal clear water lakes of Krishna Katha, of auspiciousness, of selflessness, of serviceality, or divine qualities. And those who are like swans, and those who are so swans, and those who are like crows, reminiscing on the rejected refuse, stinking refuse of the misdirected civilization. So yes, there are crows and there are swans. And these two mentalities of people, they cherish different types of happiness. So depending on what modes we acquire and take shelter of, where we get excited changes. Whereas a person in the mode of ignorance will get excited seeing some intoxicants. And a person in the mode of passion will get excited seeing some movie trailer, somebody from the opposite sex. The devotee will get excited hearing about some senior association, some senior devotee association. Now, where comes the. Now, here, Srila Prabhupada is expressing that the procedures in the mode of goodness, they are uplifting, but they're difficult to perform. There's so many rules and regulations on the path of self-realization. They're difficult to perform. Now, the question is, where comes the difficulty? So here we have to understand that these three modes trigger us in different avenues. So when people say that we are not finding much interest in Srila Prabhupada books, that simply means that they are not taking shelter of the mode of goodness. This is all that simply means. And people say well, there's not much exciting in Prabhupada books. It's all the same. It's all same thing. It's not much kick. That simply means that they have activated different trigger points. That's all. So such a person will see a woman will get excited. But Bhagavatam not much excited. So so this all is a play of modes. And we activate the modes. Now the nature of these modes is that from mode of goodness to mode of ignorance, transition is very easy. From mode of goodness to mode of ignorance, transition is very easy. It's like downhill. Downhill walk is very easy. If one is driving a vehicle, one can switch off the engine and drive downhill. Because it's downhill. Mode of goodness to mode of ignorance is downhill. But the reverse is uphill. So the reverse is uphill. Just like dimensionality reduction is very easy, but from a reduced data to come up with the bigger original data is not at all easy, because you've lost so much of information. That's the point. You've lost so much of information. The same way, mode of goodness to mode of ignorance is very easy, but mode of ignorance to mode of goodness is not at all easy. And that is why the difficulty comes, and that is why the challenge comes. It is all about activating the right modes. And the modes give this trigger. Self-realization trigger comes in the mode of goodness. It is these modes which are giving the trigger. Somebody is saying, oh, I'm feeling lusty. The problem is if the person has activated mode of passion and ignorance. Somebody is saying, I am feeling very violent. I just want to smash the head of other people around. You know? This activated mode of ignorance, that's a problem. So as soon as person mode of ignorance, as soon as he sees anybody, one thinks, okay, let me exploit, let me smash him up, you know. Always the mind is going to think in the wrong direction. Why? Because the wrong mode is activated. The mode of goodness, person has activated mode of goodness, the self-realization aspects will get triggered. As soon as one sees another person, one will say, oh, how can I serve him? If he is newcomer, okay, let me give him proper book, let me give him prasad, you know. If he is a devotee, let me appreciate him, you know. If he is a senior devotee, let me serve him. Mode of goodness. But if passion is there, it's a senior devotee, you know, let me envy him, you know. Equal junior, let me exploit. So, like that. It is these modes. And the Lord explains the transition between these modes takes place by spending time with those modes. When we make ourselves available for mode of goodness activities, our activation of mode of goodness takes place. That is why, what is the proof? That is why you will see that many times devotees in student life, they are the regularity of reading Srila Prabhupada books, hearing Prabhupada lectures, it goes up and down, like that. So in that phase, you can see that whenever, and so now one can observe that whenever one reads Srila Prabhupada books, with attention, it will give that person inspiration to read more. The person next day person will want to again pick it up, and when one drops it, then sometimes weeks and months may pass by and one has not picked up. So these phases are showing that as soon as one makes one's consciousness available for the mode of goodness by reading Srila Prabhupada books, immediately the mode of goodness gets activated. And it gets activated, the triggers are changed. So one feels like, now we have just got the association of His Holiness Bhakti Rasayan Sagar Maharaj and Bhakti Ashray Vaishnav Swami Maharaj. So immediately, what is the effect of that association? The effect is we would like to hear some of their lectures more. We may get the inspiration to hear the lecture again. We may be again looking forward to association. Okay, when the next association coming? But if one has lost himself in the mode of passion ignorance, and then it is announced, okay, Prabhus, now so and so senior devotee is coming, and then everybody will sing Hari Bol, and this devotee will be feeling, oh, no, what is this? I don't have time, no. Why can't they come some other time? They're coming for 3 days, 3 days, So you see, Let me go to hostel for 3 days, like that person will think. So why is not excited? Because there are different modes. The person has activated different modes. That's why the person is not excited. So therefore, in the path of bhakti, the emphasis is on doing the activities of mode of goodness. We don't care much about liking. Like say for example, I like chanting, I don't like chanting. We don't say whether you like chanting or don't like chanting. Our appeal is just chant. Our appeal is just chant. Whether it is ecstatic drive or whether it is a very painful drive, the recommendation is just chant. So the same thing is about services. And okay, just do services. Whether we are crying doing service or we are happy doing service, just do the service. Because the principle is by making ourselves available to the activities of mode of goodness, our modes, our trigger points get changed. When the mode of goodness is activated, naturally one will get triggered towards self-realization. And if the mode is not activated, it is very difficult to bring one to the point of self-realization. That's the point. Yes.
When we do Shilpapar book reading, when we do hearing, we do attentively. After doing so, we can see that there is a, even though we may be in different modes previously, completely negative thoughts or waves. After doing book reading, we can see there is a 180-degree rotation again becomes to a positive vibration.
Yes.
But when it comes to the services, like sometimes this kind of rotation we not able to see, and like in our mind that the thoughts are coming like uh, why others why we are able to do, why others are not doing these kind of thoughts. Actually they comes to the service, but as a matter of duty we may doing the services, but these thoughts actually comes in our minds again. So how to deal with them?
Yes. So we get basically uplifted. The principle is upliftment only happens by association. So when we are reading, hearing, we are actually associating with the acharyas, and therefore we get uplifted. In services, the experience what we get depends on our consciousness. If our consciousness is proper, we'll be ecstatic doing service. If our consciousness is improper, we'll be miserable doing service. That's the point. Uh, so, so I am being made to do service, or I have to do service somehow or the other. I am called to do service, and others are not doing service. This fact can give us pain also. This fact can give us ecstasy also. It depends on our consciousness. One can be ecstatic. Oh, everybody is going to hell, and fortunately, I have got the opportunity to be saved. So one can be ecstatic. Oh, everybody going to hell. I am getting the opportunity, getting saved. Is it not? So, like that, like Prabhupada is writing to Lal Bahadur Shastri. Prabhupada is saying that, okay, the advancement in spiritual life not easy, Prabhupada. I'm paraphrasing it. So Prabhupada is saying something to this effect. that okay, spiritual life is very tricky or very sensitive and not and Prabhupada is saying somehow I have got the clue how to go back to Godhead. And I want to share this with the whole world. Prabhupada is saying that. Somehow I have got the clue. Now Prabhupada is ecstatic. And Prabhupada wants to share this ecstasy with the whole world. This is why somebody may be very miserable. Oh, of all the billions of population of the entire world, why am I only chosen to carry on the burden or the of the acharyas or the parampara? The whole burden of the entire parampara. I only. Nobody else in the whole world. And when the person is not in proper mood, is not able to appreciate what is being given. So it's all a game of modes actually. Mm. Therefore, last year we had discussions about bhakti in three modes. What type of consciousness we have, our service or performance of the activity of bhakti gets tainted with that. So that's the reason. But definitely, when we are associating with senior devotees, acharyas, we get uplifted. We get uplifted. There also our attitude matters. In reading and associating, also our attitude matters. So the person in mode of passion may hear a lecture attentively, but a person is saying, "Oh, let me get some points, and I will speak those good points, and everybody will say that I am a terrific, bombastic preacher." Hariba. So then the person is not heard for the sake of purification. It's hearing in mode of passion. It will lead to pride, arrogance. And hearing mode of ignorance will be envy, tainted with envy. Oh, this person made to give Bhagavatam, what can he speak? Let me see what he is speaking. When I give class, it will be 10 times more punching than this fellow. Mode of ignorance. It's hearing in the mode of ignorance. So hearing can also be tainted. Depends on our attitude. Similarly, Prabhupada books also. Uh, some people they read Prabhupada books to find faults. Hey, Prabhupada saying here this, there, that. Finding fault. This is reading in the mode of ignorance. Some people read Prabhupada books to get points, to speak in their own speech. A mode of passion. And when we hear for purification or read for purification, that's goodness. So this goes to show, see, one thing we can understand from this verse, that mode of goodness, happiness, we will see anything about Krishna consciousness may not excite us in the first go. Because the Lord is explaining, it's poison in the beginning, nectar in the end. Poison in the beginning because of our conditioning. Like we said, okay, morning, 4 o'clock, wake up, attendance. And one will say, oh no, I am not going to do that. So it's not going to be exciting. But 10 years, 20 years we practice, we'll jump up on the bed, whether we sleep or don't sleep. Eyeball, Mangalarti time. Mind may say, hey, you slept at 1:30, doesn't matter. Hey, what about your body? Doesn't matter. Hey, you will die, doesn't matter. That's the point. Poison in the beginning, nectar in the end. Anyways, everybody has to die. So we understand, and that is why you see now Bhagavad Gita's revelation is that don't be driven by what excites us or what triggers us. Because the topmost activities which can give us the highest level of happiness are never going to trigger us at the first point. So don't get excited about what triggers. Sensuality will trigger, but will end up in degradation and hellish life. Krishna consciousness will never trigger, you see. Krishna consciousness will never trigger in the beginning. When we introduce devotees for people for chanting and we ask them, okay, how was their experience of 1 round chanting? Many people, most of the people have this experience. Oh, it was very tiring. Ah, we were just waiting, when the full round will get over. And we said, no problem, continue. Your muscles will develop. Even first day 16 rounds, okay, how was it 16 rounds? It was not that 16 rounds, somebody stands first day 16 rounds and one is, super ecstatic, one is floating in, his consciousness floating in Goloka Vrindavan, nothing like that. Other person may feel, unending, not finishing only. Like Maharaj was explaining, he took first day 16 or 9 hours he took. Bhakti Rasayan Sagar Maharaj. 9 hours he took to chant, the first day he chanted. So it's not that after that he would be, floating in Goloka consciousness. No, no. The feel good feeling may come to actually, the feel good feeling satisfaction may come to actually being able to do what the acharyas wanted to do. From there the sense of happiness becomes that okay, I have been able to make it. Prabhupada has been emphasizing, this is required for spiritual life, and now I have been able to make it. From there the sense of achievement and happiness may come, but not from the ecstasy of the holy name dancing in our hearts. No, is it not? So therefore the idea is, or the point is, that don't go by triggers. So bhakti will not trigger. Rather in bhakti we need rigor to make things trigger. Unless one commits to the activities of Krishna consciousness with determination. We were discussing, we heard about Utsahat, Nishayat, Dhairyat. Utsahat, Nishayat, Dhairyat also, because things will not trigger so easily. It will take time. But when one, now, unless one does that, then the appeal does not come. So this is the point. And that's why we understand from the Shastras, from the Acharyas, what is right and what is wrong. And we stretch ourselves to stand by what is right. Be it the drive of duty that okay, I have to follow dharma, something good I have to do, let me just stick on to this. Or be it the drive of pleasing the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas. The experience comes later. The struggle is the first. This is the reason. Sometimes some people say, oh, when I sometimes some people say, okay, when I do some uh, meditation, not thinking about anything, removing all thoughts, or breathing in that way, meditative way, and all that, then I feel very much peaceful, calm instantly. Like that, instantly. But when I chant Hare Krishna, that kind of feeling not there. Sometimes some people, have this kind of question. The reason is the same. That uh, for chanting to be an exciting and enlivening drive, we need certain amount of purification. It's poison in the beginning and till the end. And other things may be titillation. Okay, one is just sitting and meditating, not thinking anything. Immediately one may feel calm and peaceful. Okay, but that's just a titillation. There's nothing else. It doesn't change one's activities anyways. Rather, it makes one more vulnerable to degradation. Why? Because just this blank meditation and people feel peaceful and people feel calm and people feel energized to do what? To do what? Go into sense gratification even harder. So is it uplifting or is it degrading? Yeah. Yes. So we have to understand that you see what's happening. That titillation is energizing a person to do what? To do sense gratification more enthusiastically. Better be tired not doing sense gratification than one is doing sense gratification at a slower pace. But now one gets energized because of that so-called yoga, so-called meditation and all that, and he is full on doing sense gratification in the fifth gear. Ultimately, he is degraded more, by doing that yoga and all that meditation. But when one chants, it's going to uproot material desires. And that's why Rupa Goswami is telling, if you want to keep harboring material desires, keep holding on to material desires, don't go to the bank of Yamuna. Because if you get darshan of Shyamasundar, you'll forget material desires. And this is what Krishna consciousness is all about. And therefore, we run behind titillations. It's a perfect package to towards degradation and hellish life for eternity. But whereas if we now if you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, better don't drive or don't choose and don't decide on the basis of triggers what excites and what titillates. We understand from the Shastras, from the Acharyas, what is a priority and live up to it for good some time, and we can experience it step by step, slowly, slowly. That's the point. This is happiness in the mode of goodness, which awakens one towards self realization. Let's stop here for today. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, हरि बोल।